All right, thank you, Steve. Welcome, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. Lisa, would you please take roll call?
Mrs. Cantwell? Here. Mrs. Cloutier? Here. Ms. Franklin? Here. Ms. Scaduti? Here. Mr. Heisman? Here. Mrs. Kelleher?
Here.
Mrs. Russ?
Here.
Mr. Schuman?
Here.
Mr. Zabrowski?
Here.
Dr. Macri?
Here.
Dr. McLean? Here. Mrs. Arnesta? Here. Ms. Gary? Here. Mr. Bazzano?
Here.
Mrs. Bennington? Here. Mr. Butwell?
Here.
Ms. Cochiola?
She's absent.
Mrs. Demaro? Here. Mrs. DeTuno? Mr. Kuckel? Mr. LeMay? Mrs. Maher Prestash? Here. Mrs. Middlebrooks? Here. Ms. O'Leary? Ms. Shepherd? Here. Ms. Telmont? Here. Mrs. Weisbull? Marcel is absent. Jacob Brightman? Here. Jillian Crawford? Here. And Summer Staples?
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Moving on to approval of our agenda, additions, deletions, chair's review of agenda highlights. So this evening, the highlight is celebrating our students and our staff. We will also be approving our school calendar, and we also have some regular business on the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I just have a quick question on the agenda.
Sure.
For the grounds and infrastructure update, are we going to be discussing the track? Is there be an update for that?
I planned on talking about that during town collaboration updates, but if I don't hit on what you're
That's
looking
fine.
for, we could
So it'll-
certainly do it then.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda as it is? Motion. Lori, second by Alan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Moving on to correspondence. I have none to share today. Do you have anything, Dr. Macri? No. All right, and public comments. Before I share the rules for public comments, is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will go right to our celebrating our faculty and staff. We have Cromwell High School this evening, the girls cross country. And Mr. Kuckel, would you like to come on up and introduce them?
Hey, good evening, everybody. So today we have a combo here with staff and our students where we are honoring the girls cross country team and their coaches. So if we can have everybody come on up. We have Taylor Mooney, Brianna Jones, Sophia Rodriguez, Sophia Schurer, Rory Monahan, Jenna Vieira, Ania Raj, Jenny, there you go, Jillian Morgan, and Eva Artioli, along with their coaches, Coach Joe Asmus and Coach Doug McGuff. And the reason we wanted to acknowledge girls cross country, it's not something we typically do in the middle of a season. But they have had just such a phenomenal season this year that we really wanted to take the opportunity to recognize them, regardless of how the season ends. So just the short of it here, they have won 3 out of 4 invitationals in cross country this year, 1 in Rhode Island, and they won their home meet, which was the first time for girls cross country. We actually host an incredible event here, the CT River Valley Invitational, correct? Right, got that one right. It's a great event. A ton of schools show up to that. And these girls went out there and they just put in an amazing effort to win. And again, I'm not surprised as principal because again, in the summertime, what I see when I look out my window in the summer is I see these kids running by all the time, logging amazing numbers of miles in preparation for this. And you know, regardless again of how it ends, it's just been a phenomenal season. And at that CT River Valley meet, we also had Taylor Mooney, who was here, a senior, who also set the course record for us here at Cromwell High School.
Wow. That deserves a round of
What
applause.
was the time, Taylor? 19 minutes and 37 seconds. I know no one in this room can do that. Incredible time. And then, so just like other sports, cross country does a top 10 that they released from the state of Connecticut. So recently, and for the first time, to my knowledge, Coach McGuff, first time, right? First time, in the marathon sports running poll, Cromwell is in the top 10 in the state of Connecticut. And, yep. And again, it doesn't really matter where they finish because they are this good. And to put this in perspective, when I say top 10, you know, who's ahead of them? Who are they in the same company with? Double L Glastonbury, Double L Greenwich, L New Canaan, Mercy, which is a double M school, Staples, double L, Cheshire L, Trumbull, double L. So if you're not familiar, LLL means these schools have 3 to 4 times the population of us. And based on these students and how they're performing, we are class SS. So we are in good company with Haddam Killingworth as the only other school of that size in the top 10. But again, top 10 in the state of Connecticut. This is a fantastic team. The future is bright. And we are just so immensely proud of all the hard work they put in as athletes and what their coaches have done. Coach McGuff, Coach Asmus, as they really have taken this girls cross country program and cross country programs in general to really new heights. And we're very proud of all that they've done. And they deserve everything and more. And we wish them the best for the rest of this year.
That is so amazing. Thank you for sharing. What's the secret? Is this, do we have a young team? Do we have a lot of seniors? What's the secret to this year?
Who wants to talk? Taylor.
We have a very young team.
Wow.
I'm the only senior on varsity. We only have 2 seniors. And actually, I think like 3 of our varsity runners are freshmen, which is really impressive. But it's really just the work we've put in over the summer, and everyone holds each other accountable, as well as holding ourselves accountable and putting in the work, showing up to practice every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of you. And to your coaches. Board members, do you have any comments you want to share? Oh, Catherine, go ahead.
So I have seen some of those other schools that Mr. Cuckle rambled off. They're absolutely phenomenal runners from Glastonbury, Mercy, and some of those other big name schools. The fact that you're competing at their level is super impressive. We see you running around a lot, and we're so proud of you. I think this is the first that I've been on the board that we've ever recognized cross country, so congratulations, because those invitationals are massive, especially the one that you guys host here. I know so many people that come to the one that Cromwell hosts, and I'm super impressed by all of you. So keep at it. You're doing a fantastic job, and we're so proud of you.
Does anyone else have any other comments? Do any of you also run track, by the way? Oh, all of you? Interesting. So on a side note, if you feel very strongly, feel free to show up to a meeting next week to testify as to why we need a new track. Not to put you on the spot, but they love to hear from students.
They do. It's a true story. Yeah, true story.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. If you want to do photo ops with the parents, feel
Absolutely,
free.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's no pressure. Our first ever state title was in cross country. And so wouldn't it be great in the 70th year of a high school if we got another one? No pressure at all, though. No pressure.
Thank you all for being here tonight. They all showed up, too. Every single one of them. Oh, right. All right. I'll let them take some photos. What? Mm-hmm. No. All right. From here, we'll move on to reports of liaisons from the Town Council, Board of Finance, Cromwell Middle School Building Committee. I have kind of quite a few of those tonight for town. Actually, I'll save that for town collaboration. But Cromwell Middle School Building Committee, we do have a meeting on the 22nd so that we can approve the solar to go out to bid for the solar panels. So that is part of the regular Cromwell Middle School Building Committee meeting, and we'll be at the head of the agenda. Hopefully, you've all RSVP'd to Lisa, and we have quorum for that. Is that correct?
Yes, and then it might be via Zoom too.
Oh, even better. Okay. Let's see, anything else? Town Council. I'm going to save that for town collaboration reports as well. So any questions on that? You have reference A in your packets. Rosanna Glenn provided us with an update. All right. And moving on to the introduction of our new student representatives and your reports. So last time we met Jacob, who's a junior. Thank you. And now we have our middle school reps with us this evening. So Jacob, why don't you begin, and then we'll introduce the middle school reps.
All right, so Marcel couldn't be here tonight. He's on the senior trip. He texted me that he's on a Ferris wheel right now. So.
He's on a Ferris wheel?
I won't speak for him there. But I will speak for him for his rest of his part. So the seniors are on their trip in Washington, D.C. right now. They come back on Friday, hopefully before the government decides to shut down all the other museums. And while they're away, the rest of us have to take the much less enjoyable PSAT on Thursday. The past month has been filled with a lot of fun with the French and Spanish class field trips to Yukon, the river cleanup with Carbon Club that removed thousands of pounds of trash from the Connecticut River, and a visit from Phoenix Therapy Dog last Thursday. This Saturday, Cromwell students are volunteering at the Trick or Trunk event in Pearson Park, whether that be running concessions or building their own trunk. Be on the lookout for the Jaws-themed Stuco trunk and the K-pop Demon Hunters-themed National Art Honor Society trunk. Near the end of October, on the 23rd, Stuco is hosting the blood drive and is looking for more volunteers. PSA, they do give great snacks and a $10 gift card. Everyone is having a great start to their fall, and Marcel looks forward to seeing everyone in person at next month's meeting. Now, for my part, it's your unathletic athletic reporter here to talk about sports. I cannot run it in 19 minutes, but I can tell you how the rest of the teams are doing. So, the boys' soccer team had their senior night last Thursday, unfortunately falling short to Lime Old Lime. Don't worry, though, this is only their second loss of the season. They have a winning record by far. They wrap up the regular season next Monday. On Friday, the girls' volleyball team played at Valley Regional High School and lost 3-2, but they too have a winning record. Their senior night is Tuesday the 21st. Last week, the girls' soccer team beat Hale Ray 6-0 and Wyndham 5-1. Finally, some wins. Their last regular season game will be at Manchester on Monday. The football team won their game at Weaver on Friday, 49-26. At their last home game versus Morgan, Panthers were ahead by so much at halftime, I'm pretty sure most people left by then. The final score is 49-14, perhaps not close enough to keep the crowd. The next home game is against Valley on Friday the 24th. And as Mr. Kuckel mentioned, the cross-country teams are doing great. The girls won all their championships, and the boys are doing very well, too. Their next meet is at Hammonasset on Thursday. Next time, I'll come to you with updates about championships and the upcoming winter season.
Great. Thank you very much, Jacob. Nicely done. All right, so now this evening we do have our Cromwell Middle School reps joining us. We have Jillian and Summer. So who would like to begin? Welcome.
Cromwell Middle School students have had a wonderful first few weeks of school in our new building and are ready to soar this year. Students have successfully transitioned back to our routines and have been rewarded with raffle prizes, including gift cards, as part of our Race to Responsibility, courtesy of the SOAR Committee. We are all looking forward to a healthy and outstanding school year. This year, CMS kicked off the start to our school year with a visit from Milestone C, who organized a series of STEAM activities for our students. Students were excited to build towers, construct a working electrical circuit, fly drones, which most of us, including me, crashed almost immediately. It was a simulation, it was fine, and learn about sound waves. CMS hosted our annual open house on September 4th. The community turned out in droves to meet teachers and to enjoy a first peek at our brand new building. Our student council is up and running. We currently have 12 members and are actively recruiting. The student council looks forward to serving the CMS community this year by hosting food drives, organizing spirit activities, and supporting the CMS community. Yearbook Club is off to an early start this year under Mrs. Starowitz as well. We've begun to take photos of sports matches to hopefully try and get some good shots to put in there. So far, we've done the girls' soccer team, and I believe someone on the team got some from the cross-country meet today. The source to see, Mr. Leikowitz, Mr. St. Ange, and Mr. Chabowski would like to thank some students who soared by joining the Connecticut River cleanup at River Highlands State Park. Teaming up with the High School Eco Club, the City of Cromwell Transfer Station, parents, and some local volunteers removed over 500 pounds of construction debris, plastic, styrofoam, and other garbage removed from the banks of the Connecticut River. Again, our thanks to all who helped us out. This year, the CMS Drama Club will proudly present Alice in Wonderland. Tech interviews were October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. A total of 26 students interviewed to be on the tech crew. We completed 3 days of actor auditions, October 8th, 9th, and 10th, with 2 more days of actor auditions this week, October 16th and 17th. To date, we've had 49 actors audition, and we have 25 more scheduled to audition this week. Actor callbacks are scheduled for October 23rd. Finally, because CMS Drama Club is full of wonderful and amazing students, the Goodspeed Theater has given CMS 102 free tickets to see A Chorus Line at the Goodspeed on Tuesday, October 28th. They're also paying for the buses. We hope to see you at CMS on opening night of Alice in Wonderland on Friday, February 27th.
Mr. Sainaj and Miss Pavlik are offering our annual optional after-school trip to Bog in Rocky Hill for Indian food. The goal is to bolster cultural awareness and appreciation, all while providing a unifying experience among the two 7th grade teams. The kids converse on nosh, potatoes on samosas, and break bread with local business owners. CMS Student News created a segment on 9/11. 8th grade students interviewed parents and or teachers to find out what their experiences were on that day. Students were able to practice interview skills and get an understanding of this historical traumatic event. Select Choir has been off to a great start with 2 rehearsals so far. We have 31 amazing members this year in comparison to 18 members last year. The boys soccer team, coached by Mr. Gloa, is enjoying a great season under the leadership of Jesse Tinga and Calvin Fortis. The girls team, coached by Miss Humphrey and Mr. Willis, is having a great season. There are 4 games left, and the girls will rely on captains Sophia Shields, Kayla Morrissey, Alexis Stryker, and Eliana Volpe to lead them to a strong finish. The CMS cross country season is off to a great start. Under the coaching of Dr. Bosworth and Miss Murphy, this season the girls are led by Summer Stankiewicz, Kylie Laterra, Julia Fazzino. And on the boys' side, Andrew Matrullo, Keegan Bowler, and Caden Rouleau anchor the team. The athletes have really enjoyed the conditioning and the beautiful weather, competing against neighboring schools, and watching their run times improve with each meet. The team is looking forward to the Rich LaFave Invitationals and States coming up.
Wow, I'm so impressed with you both. Have you done this before? So much going on. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm excited to hear so much interest in the all-school production in the new auditorium. So thank you. Any questions for our student reps? Alicia?
Just a welcome and thank you. You guys all really brighten up our meetings, and I love your humor, Jacob. Appreciate it. Just wondering for Jillian and Summer what students' reactions are to the new school building. We've been excited about it for a long time, but what's the feeling from students about it?
I would say the students are responding fairly well. I have seen people using the smart boards for both the teachers and the students. Like learning how to use them was a bit of a struggle, but like everyone seems to be getting the hang of it. It seems to be going pretty well. The new school, it's been about a month and it's still like really, really clean. Like there's been no, it's holding up very well. And people like just the new buildings, it felt a little bit empty at first, but now that the teachers are decorating in their rooms and it's just up and running, and it'll be nice to like have a brand new building where electrical fuses won't blow every couple of months.
Yeah, like Jill was saying, like it's so nice and clean, and as teachers and students have gotten more comfortable, it's definitely been so nice and amazing. Like I think the teachers and all the students just love to see like all the positive improvements. Like last year our auditorium was like literally falling apart. Like all the seats were just
Duct
not
taped?
good. Yeah, they were duct taped. And this year they're so nice and everything's just so much nicer.
Oh, well, we're so glad for you all, and no one's getting lost in the new building. I know some 6th graders were a little nervous to start, but I'm sure they've all acclimated. Thank you both. You're welcome to chime in if you have any, comments as we go through the agenda, and you're also welcome. You don't have to stay, obviously. I'm sure you have homework to do, so whenever you'd like to leave, you can leave. Thank you so much. All right, from here, we will move on to our town collaboration updates, and I have a couple things. One, Mayor Dimitriadis is trying to create a public asset and facilities committee. I think I mentioned it at the last meeting. It did go to town council and was approved there. That's to replace the tri-board committee, facilities committee type meeting we've been having unofficially. This would be just to make it more official, having meeting minutes and such. And what it would consist of is one board member from the 3 boards and then some members of the public. So that goes to public hearing in November, so stay tuned and we'll hear if that passes or not. And we'll talk more about it if it does, when it does. Another item I have is, just wanted to announce, I'm sure you've all seen it, that S&P and Moody's rated us AAA bond rating, the town of Cromwell. So we're happy about that. That means that we can borrow at a reduced rate. What I'm being told, it can help us get a favorable rate for the bond for the middle school. And it just means we're doing a really good job as a town financially. So that was good news. what else? The track. I just wanted to say at the last meeting, we did take no action. And I'm just hopeful that the Board of Finance does have a meeting next week, and, it's on them to make a decision if they wanted to bring it back to light or add an agenda item. At this time, I don't see any further action from our board. I know Mayor Dimitriadis and the town council are still in support of it, greatly so. So if anyone is able to or interested in spreading the word to get some people to public comment, that might help it a little bit. Go through hopefully next week. That's about all I have. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I just think with the Board of Finance voting it down, that as the Board of Ed, we should have a decision if we want to fund the track in full. So I'd like to make a motion to fund the track for the full quoted amount for the replacement of the track out of the board's current surplus.
So we did talk about it at the last meeting, and I believe there was no action. We voted no action, but we can always bring it back up if there's different feelings on it tonight. Catherine?
We had asked for more information on the status of our surplus
Right.
and what we've already eaten into and what's left over based on changes that we've had, things we've had to pay for unexpectedly. So I'd like to see that information before we decide to move forward with any type of action to pay for the full amount of the track. And also Claudio was going to get back to us with if he reached out to the company to let us know what their time frame was for us to say yes or no to putting a track in.
Do you want to get into the financial piece or wait until Mr. Butler's
So
report?
as I was reading Robert's rules, I think we're supposed to have a second so that you can have a discussion, which you guys just had. So someone I think you should second it.
Okay.
Second for a discussion, and then I could have, if you guys want, have Claudio come up.
I'll second for a discussion for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not. I'm trying to learn myself, so that so I can help. So Kelly, second. You guys, if you want to rehab the discussion, we all heard it. I could now invite Claudio up if that is what you would like, so he can give you an update, and then you guys could determine where you want to go from there. So Claudio did call the company. And this is what they told us, exactly what I expected, what we both expected. And I don't think you'll be surprised.
Good evening, everyone. The drop dead date is December 15. They will not hold that price that they've given us into the new year. They would have to put in the order for the rubber surfacing before the end of the fiscal year. So we would need a contract in place, completed, not just the requisition going through. So figure out backwards how long it takes to get a purchase order in this town, and that pretty much tells you we've got probably mid-November at the latest before a final decision is made. That allows us a month to finish the paperwork and get that through and get it ordered. If anything after that, they won't hold the price, so the price can go up. And as far as scheduling, it's on a first come, first serve. They won't hold that schedule open for us until they have a contract. So time is of the essence. It's not like tomorrow, but when we're talking about basically 30 days or so to complete the decision, that's not that long when people are making these kind of decisions and conversations.
Okay.
That's it.
Any further discussion on this? Matt? I saw his hand up first.
I would like to know more about what we've eaten out of, as Catherine said, what's already been used or is at this point anticipated to be necessary this year out of that surplus. And I don't, if it's not available, then that's kind of going to make the decision to move forward at all a little bit more difficult. And also, I struggle with this because I feel like this type of expense is the reason the tri-board came about, where we moved over large expenditures onto the purview of the town, so we wouldn't build things like this into our budget. I understand the surplus and kind of the optics of that, but the reality is that I'm concerned personally that we're going to see some things this year that are going to come at a cost, and I don't right now it looks like there's a surplus. I don't know what that's going to be like 4 or 5 months from now. I'm concerned that it will not be. But again, we did the whole CNR process in collaboration with the Board of Finance and the Town Council, We spent a lot of time hashing that out, and this is one of the things that I you know, an example of something that high of a cost that is supposed to go through that process. It went through that process. We agreed. The town agreed. We offered up $200,000 from the surplus, kind of as a, hey, look, you know, we're really trying to work with you here. And then, you know, as we know, it didn't make it through the Board of Finance. I think it went through the process, and at this point, I think it's left with the Board of Finance to decide if they want to rehash it or not. But
Okay.
my point of view, this is a large CNR project.
Thank you, Matt. Kelly?
Yeah, so I apologize. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I did watch it. I was under the impression that Mayor Dimitriadis, in collaboration with the town council, wrote to us asking us to fund it fully.
Correct.
And I could have just misunderstood, but you just said he's in support of Board of Finance half funding it.
After hearing that we didn't move forward with funding the other half, he did say he would reach out to Board of Finance and see if he could speak to them and follow that process.
Do we
because
know
it
if-
doesn't rest with him anymore. But
No, I know. So that was a piece that was missing for me. So do we know if he's had that conversation?
he told me he was planning to.
I think I'm a little bit on an opposite end of where you are with this, and I did hear your concerns about the surplus. And if that letter is like null and void, but to me that read that if we did have expenses come in that were beyond our control, it seemed like we had full support from the mayor and from the town council. And I could be just not understanding the process, but since Board of Finance said no, in order to guarantee it get back to Board of Finance, wouldn't we need to do a different amount? Otherwise, do they?
No, they could, someone that was at the last meeting could recall their last conversation and they could add it back to the agenda, or they could revoke what they did at the last. There's options. But I just want to comment on the process because just, you know, I appreciate that Mayor Dimitriadis is fully supportive of our budget and if we needed something else, but he was supportive of the track as well. And, you know, he can't control the Board of Finance. They also have their own processes. So I appreciate it, but I don't have full faith that we would get the funding if we needed it, if we expend all of our money.
Yeah, I don't think we can have full faith in anything. I'm just trying to see both sides, and I do see the side of us having a surplus and using it to invest in the town, to me, makes sense, especially with the support that's been output. And I thought Board of Finance had made a mention of that too, but I could be incorrect. I just want to understand, do we know for sure it's going to come back up at the Board of Finance meeting for them to vote?
No, we don't know for sure. That's the point of, you know, getting people to go out to public comment and hopefully they reconsider. That's all we can do at this point unless our board decides to fund it. And then we do have another meeting in November. Dr. Macri, can you just give us, again, a little bit more background on why we do have this ability to withhold the 2%? Because I feel like that was done for a very specific reason, because we have all these fluctuations, it's legislation, and I feel like now it's just becoming, you know, like we need to spend it down to zero, and that wasn't the purpose of this.
I can invite Chris up. This has been happening, I would say, over probably since I've been in education, so 33 years, where there's confusion or a discrepancy of beliefs. At the end of the day, it's all taxpayers' money. Statutorily, however, once the Board of Finance gives the money to the Board of Education, they cannot tell us how to spend the money, right? So we then, it used to be up to 1%, you could put that into an account and it would be held, and we would use it for capital improvement projects. We barely ever had anything to save. Now that we had closer to 1.5%, we obviously put that $577,000 to the side. It's supposed to be used for educational purposes. I did check with council as far as what educational purposes would mean. Does the track fall under it? It could. It's very general, was my understanding. So you really want to think about things. So for example, you just saw our cross-country team and our kids, right? Of course, they use the track. But if you think about how often the community uses the track as well, right? So is it really fall on the responsibility of the Board of Education to use the funds that were allocated for students and everything that kids need? you know, you could talk about this till the cows come home. Everyone's going to have a difference of an opinion. So we talked about that, and Mr. Butwell can answer questions. The money is allowed, we believe. It's general enough to be used for that. I did also tell you a little bit last time of how I felt 2.5 years ago. I think Chris just was right. I think it was when you just joined us. We talked about CNR and what that was supposed to look like and what that money was supposed to be and why we had this CNR moving over to the town side. So I feel this was what I was afraid of in the first place, right? I was afraid that this could possibly happen, is that we have a surplus or whatever it may be, or things get voted down and we never get anything done. And I talked about, this is a perfect example, and Claudio can come up and speak to it as well, of something that should be paid for by the town and run by the town. Well, Claudio is going to most likely be running the project, and right there, that's more than we should be doing anyway, right? So then we talked about the $200,000 that you allocated to go towards this project as well. Is this going to be something that happens all the time? And then in my eyes is, why bother going through the CNR process, at all, if this is going to happen? That's all up to all of you. I gave you, my 2 cents. I don't feel comfortable I will never feel comfortable as your superintendent, nor should any superintendent feel comfortable telling you that it's okay to go into the red ever, to overexpend your budget. It's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. No matter what anybody says, at the end of the day, if we expend our budget, yes, it falls on the town to pay for everything. You just don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be in that position. I would like for you not to want to be in that position, but that's up to you. And
what will happen is, once we expend all the surplus, we'll have to freeze the budget,
So-
which means
so I will
everything
t-
that you've
right.
planned on purchasing.
So
will
I
get
will
put on
come
hold.
to you. What I will do is, Chris and I will come to you if we expend this money. Let's say you decide that you want to do this, and we have calculation. We have Connecticut paid sick leave, which is a new law that Michelle can talk to you about where we are right now. We are where we were at the end of the school year for the last 2 years. We're just, so many people are taking this opportunity, whatever, they need it. It's a law. We talked about other expenses. We just got our shipment bill in. It was $11,000. About $6,000 was to, for DACO, things that we just don't know that are going to happen. Plus, the whole special education thing last year was just a miracle. That's what it was. And we never know what's going to happen with the government shutdown. We just never know. Special education, what's going to happen? We don't know. So I don't necessarily think it's a good idea, because I don't know what is going to, it's too early in the season to know. You see our surplus right now, but that's definitely going to change as time moves on. So I don't know.
So before we have more
Like,
discussion,
Do you want
Mr.
Chris?
Butwell, do you have the delineation of what the 577 minus the 201, and then the other items we talked about at the last meeting, a little bit more specific that you could go over?
Sure. I don't have a lot of additional, cost challenges that we talked about last week. I realized after we finished the meeting last week, I didn't finish my list because I think we went off in another direction. But as Dr. Macri mentioned, just for a quick recap of last week's, we talked about hiring 5 additional paraprofessionals. We had about $5,000 in expenses for setting up routes for the DATCO situation in the event that there was a driver strike. Since then, we've received the legal bill, which is about $5,000 to navigate through that situation. We talked about we're working with the town to resolve our dental situation, and we're about $12,000 behind right now in terms of money that we owe into the system. I know Mrs. DeMoro and I spoke earlier today about the FMLA. She has some numbers that I think she could share regarding just costs that she's seen this year compared to last year. So if she wants to come up and add that, I'll let her share that. We talked about additional fees that we may need to kick in for our shared program with Berlin. And I also didn't mention that at this point in the year, we're already about $7,000 in debt with our meal program.
I saw your email.
So all of those things that I just said is about $170,000.
Including the 5 pairs?
Pardon me?
Including the 5
yes,
pairs?
Yes, that's the biggest one because that's about 117,000.
Okay.
So all those other things add up to just over 170.
All right, thank you. Mr. Moore, do you want to come on up and explain the rest related to FMLA?
So in order to give you an idea of the difference of the new law and the possible effects, because it's hard to project. I don't know how many people will be going out, the effects that the district will have with these new changes. But what we did is we took what we spent last year for the month of September, and then we took what we spent so far for the month of September this year. Now, I want to be honest with you. We did go up on the rates. However, we did not go up on the rates by double. So I want to explain to you, we did go up on the rates because every year you have to do a market analysis and you do go up on the daily sub rates, and you look at the market, maybe $5, $10. So for last school year, for the month of September for subs, we paid out $10,704.17. For this school year, for the month of September, we've paid out already for $23,868.42. So that's a difference of $13,000 just for the month of September. We don't know if this will be the possible projection for every month. We don't know. We can't forecast what the future is going to look like. For coverage, and what coverage is internal coverage for internal staff to cover when we can't find a sub. For last school year, we paid $2,354. For this school year, for the month of September, we've paid $2,785. That's a difference of approximately $500 for the month of September.
So we start at 577. We gave 201 approximately to the track already, minus the 170. That leaves us at like 206,000. So if we gave the rest to the track, we'd be at 0.
Right. And then the question you had asked me about freezing. So I would come to you and tell you that I want to freeze the budget. You could say, Enza, don't freeze the budget. I would highly advise not to. I've been successful for 7 years at freezing it and getting us really close, $1,700 actually 1 year. I spoke with council about this too. Do I get to freeze the budget? I usually do. I've been, here and in my prior town. Superintendent does, because that's our responsibility to look at it and say we're getting close, we're nervous about it, and we freeze it, which means the schools can't spend. The only thing that we're spending for is safety and security and special education. Everything else, everything gets put on hold. And we've done that since I've been here, the only year, and it was a light freeze last year because we were afraid of the reimbursement rate. It kept changing, remember? So then our kids go without things that we have projected that they would need. So then I would come to you in this situation, instead of saying I'm going to freeze the budget. If you make the decision that you want to move forward and do this, I will come to you and tell you, myself and Mr. Butwill we would be freezing the budget this time of year. However, since you have chosen to spend this money, I would like for you to consider freezing the budget. Do you want me to freeze it, or do you not want me to freeze it? Because the responsibility then lies on everyone, right? Because if we make that decision to spend that money, or are we going to consciously know that we are going to be running our budget perhaps into the red by the end of the year, which then, whether the Board of Finance chooses to pay the bill or doesn't, it doesn't matter. Statutorily, it is the responsibility of the town of Cromwell to pay the bills. So at the end, they will have to absorb the funds. There is no choice, except it's not good practice. It's terrible practice. I don't recommend it. And then everyone's going to think that that's the way it runs. Like, you could just run it into the red all the time, and then the town's going to pick up the cost. Then you don't need me and Chris keeping an eye on the budget all the time to make sure that we're being responsible. So these are things that I just want you to think about before you make a decision.
All right. I'm just going to ask when you raise your hands like that, Alan, instead of with the pen, because I wasn't sure that you had a question, and Matt, you did the same. So going forward, if you just do that. Alan.
Just a clarification. So we don't know if it's on the agenda for the Board of Finance.
Correct.
And if it's not, the next meeting is, the board meeting, or Board of Ed is in November.
Right.
So the deadlines go on right then and there.
November 15th, I think. You said mid-November, right? And our next meeting is what, the 14th?
Right, and can they do the same thing? So what Steve
So-
just did, Steve brought it up.
They can do that,
Can they
yes.
do the same
I did
thing?
confirm that
That
can be
that
done,
happen?
if one of the members brings it up.
But if they don't do it, then there's no track. I mean, pretty bluntly, it's not gonna happen.
Well, unless it comes back to our meeting again
Well,
and
I think
reconsider
by
again.
that time, it's too late.
No.
No.
We could always call a special meeting too.
All right, so you got a day, but then you're talking about the purchase order and everything else, that all can be going through the system.
It's not
Because
ideal,
gonna-
but it's
You know, track's
doable.
only gonna get more expensive on a rebid, too.
No, it does have to get done, for sure. And I think, like I said, we could call a special meeting to give them more time.
Any room that, maybe up our contribution, but not the 400,000? Any consideration of that? I mean, we're kind of tipping our hands, if we offer to pay for the whole thing right now to the Board of Finance. Well, they said in the board meeting they're gonna pay for it. So we've already brought that up, but maybe we go 300,000 or something, or 250 or something like that.
Is that a motion?
I'm just.
Any
for
discussion on that thought?
Something like that.
Do we need to motion? We have, we're still in an
Oh.
active motion and second, so. Discussion.
All right, so we're discussing it, okay.
You're still
Okay.
in active discussion, and then someone can make a motion, and then someone could talk about that motion, and then you could.
So Steve had a motion, you seconded, right?
Make a friendly amendment.
No, but I meant, like, can we talk?
You're on.
I missed the rules last time.
Just
and
talk
that
about
was
it more first,
executive
yes.
session, so I don't know what they are. But does he have to make a motion to talk about that?
No,
No,
we're still under Steve's motion.
We're
he can request, a friendly amendment to Steve's motion if Steve is willing to
Thank
amend
you.
his motion. That would be a possibility. Otherwise, this is just discussion. and
We
there
can
has
still
to be
just
a
have the
separate
discussion,
motion.
though. I
Sorry.
appreciate it.
My
Thank
mic
you.
on, and I said that, yes.
It's a sub.
Oh, I know, but I don't know if you're first or me. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, sure.
I want to go back to, because I hear everybody's comments, and I'm afraid this is going to just keep coming back to rear its head, whether it's a track or some other capital project. So I heard Selena's summary of the proposal from the mayor, but I think I need a little bit better understanding of how that might work, because I think you said, in my notes, one BOE member, one member of the town council, one member of the Board of Finance, and some other members of the public. And is the plan that that group then will be making decisions about capital projects for school facilities, for town facilities? I just don't know what that proposal is, and I want to be informed about that before we make these kind
I
of
can
decisions.
share a copy of the draft, but in final version, I didn't have a copy to share tonight, but I'm sure
Okay.
I'll have it by tomorrow. But that, I don't see that as relating to the track specifically right now. That's outside of that. And it's been outside of that.
It's a framework
Claudia,
for
come
how
on
we're
up.
making decisions in the future.
Yes, it's not gonna, I think he said February it would begin.
And at that time, they'll be talking about next year's budget.
Right.
Nothing to do with this year's.
And the track was never part of any of the Gordian conversations to begin with.
I feel like it was. And then we took, the discussion stopped because we were going for a grant. I think
Right.
that's where we
That's
got
true.
caught up in.
But we didn't
all of
have it in the
this, right?
spreadsheet with the priorities. It was
No.
outside of that.
It wasn't part of the Gordian, but it was part of the request by the Board of Ed.
Can you come to a mic, please?
The track was not part of the Gordian, but it was part of the request that was made to the CNR to the town. And at that time, the town said they would move it to their CNR, not the Board of Ed CNR.
Correct.
It wasn't that they decided they're not going to pay for it.
No,
They moved it off
indicated that
our
it would be taken
request.
care of through the town. That
Because
was my
the
understanding.
board
Right.
approved us requesting the money from the town for CNR for the track
Mhm.
last year. And that was presented to the CNR for the town for approval for funding for CNR for the year 2026.
Thank you. Catherine, then Kelly.
At the time when the discussion went up to the Board of Finance, we did not have all this financial information that I requested from Chris from last time. This is why I'm asking for it, so that if we do try and pressure them and to go back, they're not pressure, but to say it in public comment and have everyone speak about how this all works and why we're coming back to them. Only one member of the Board of Finance said, spend all your money on the surplus on the track, and if you need more money, just come back. I mean, that wasn't like a board-wide, yes, do that. It wasn't an approval. It was one board member that stated it. So I just want to make that part of it clear, and also to let you know that I did not have all the detailed information. I did tell them generally that we had already started to use it based on certain things like the busing issue, like needing to hire more pairs due and other special education costs that were coming through. I didn't even discuss the dental, the FMLA, or any of our shipment bills. Those pieces in the lunch debt, I didn't think we'd be that far in debt in the second month of school, but we are. So none of those pieces were presented to the Board of Finance. So I just want to make that very clear during our discussions right now.
Did you want to add something, Mr. Boatwell?
Yeah, I just wanted to make clear that although I just talked about all those cost challenges, we haven't touched the surplus at all yet. All of these costs are being absorbed by our current budget.
Okay. Kelly?
That sort of goes along with the questions that I'm looking to ask. So I just want to make sure we're telling the same story as the questions that Board of Finance is going to ask, because if we say $7,000 of lunch debt, $13,000 of FMLA, I mean, if I was sitting on Board of Finance, I would say, well, what did we project for FMLA? We knew the law was changing last year. I know we can't say exactly where it's going to be, but I would think any year over year, month over month is going to be an increase in terms of...
Ever project it. No one, Michelle's.
I'm not insinuating we could project $13,000, but we would have projected some type of an increase in substitute costs.
Oh yeah, we had that projected in our. That was already in our budget.
Right. So
Yeah.
then, what's the actual net difference?
So Michelle just said $13,000 for 1 month. So let's say we continue to.
No,
on
but
this
that was
path.
from what we spent last September. So I'm talking about projected, because they're two different numbers, and I just don't want to go present numbers and have them.
I think we raised. I know what you're saying now. I think we raised the cost. So when you projected this number, it's not going to be that much money, but when you did you take into consideration the rate was? I even forget what the rate was last year, and then what the rate is this year, and the comment you made about it wasn't. I think we raised it by like $5 or $10.
Yes. It was raised by $5 or $10. That was one of the comments I said. There's no way to project Connecticut FMLA.
I'm not insinuating there is.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we can't say that it's a $13,000 increase. We would have projected some type of growth on a number.
Right. We only budgeted for salary increases for the subline. Nobody knew this new change was coming in.
So when did
not
that
necessarily what I want. It's just
That's
what
what
I
you're
want
at.
presented
when
to
did
Board
the
of
change
Finance.
happen?
Yeah.
Like when were we informed of November 1st? Wait.
No,
when?
so there
October?
was a salary.
Just a month ago?
There was a salary. Hold on, let me explain this to you
The new law
guys.
just got put into place during legislation. We had no idea
We-
this was coming to
we
effect when
couldn't
we were
even-
creating the budget last year. So this was not budgeted for. Nobody knew. All school districts are basically like, here's the new law, it's in effect. We just found out basically once all the laws got passed and all the new laws are presented over the summer is when we found out. So whatever budget we have is the budget we have to work with.
I think can we find out? So last year, what
So
was the increase?
135, and for daily subs we went up to 140.
So it was $5.
It's $5.
So that's like $5 a day. We'd have to figure it out. If we're lucky,
No, but you're saying
that's what
from
you're saying, right?
the
Figure
new
that
legislation, how many extra subs this year, so far that you're asking if they
What
could
I'm
have
trying
projected
to
that.
say is, if we're going to go with a list of numbers to Board of Finance, we need to make sure that we're coming with a list of actual numbers, because $7,000 in lunch debt for September is a number, but what is in our budget for lunch debt for the year, and what are we actually
Right.
pacing
So we have to say
go
nothing.
over?
So we don't have anything in our budget for.
We don't budget for a lunch
Nope.
debt?
Nope. We do not budget for a lunch debt ever, because that's padding the budget. We are a year to year, even though we know we're going to be most likely in debt, we don't budget for that because we're a year to year budget. We don't pad our budget whatsoever for anything at all. Just like with students with special needs, we have, and I try to get us closer to that, because in the past we used to say, okay, in October, these are our students with special needs that we think we're going to have
Yeah.
following. and then I changed it, remember, and I would give you an update right up into January, February. That's all that we can do. We can give you an update where the debt is, but we never budget for that because that isn't something that we always anticipate that people are going to pay in full, but they don't. If you want us to, we could,
I think
but
that's
it's only
a
going to
separate.
increase
I mean, that's
you know, it's just, I just want to make sure, like, when you said that, we are
That's
not.
very.
Yeah.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
because I would have assumed that we did
Yeah,
budget
we do
for
not budget
lunch
for
debt,
lunch
but,
debt, no.
No, I just wanted. I'm just coming at it from a lens of like projections versus actuals versus that, and having like real numbers to give them of what we're going to go into the surplus with. My goal is not to spend all of our surplus. My goal is to get a track, and I'm just trying to understand the best way. And absolutely, I agree with Alan's point of we are very down to the limit if it does not get reintroduced at the Board of Finance meeting, which is the biggest concern that I have.
Okay. Matt had his hand up, though. Let me just get to his question.
Not so much a question, just kind of like I guess a statement of fact. The reality is, when Enza said that they're concerned about not padding the budget because they don't want to, excuse me, they don't want to budget for, lunch debt. The reality is anything that goes into the budget is there permanently in number, maybe not in usage, because the state law does say that the next year's budget cannot be lower than this year's. So I actually appreciate that that approach because we're being careful not to have large increases in our budget year to year, which we know salaries go up, benefit costs go up every year. So trying to minimize any kind of an increase, I think, is important. But I also think that we need to be careful with, again, that's also why we as a town went to this CNR approach, was because we were bloating our budget. For example, if WIS needs a new parking lot, needs it paved, and that costs us $300,000, and we put that in our budget, that $300,000 has to stay there next year, even though that parking lot's already been fixed.
But what also
Right.
happened was, in the past, all those projects would just get nixed and nothing would get done.
Right, because we run into some kind of financial issue, and then we couldn't do the project anyway, but the money still stayed in the budget. So the whole point behind this process was to keep the Board of Ed budget from inflating in a large way every year and kind of get some more control over it,
While also maintaining.
while also being able to maintain all the facilities. So, I think it was a really good move for the town. I think that this is the first test of how it's going to actually work or not work. And I want it to work. And my fear is if it comes back on us, it's going to set a bad precedent, and it's going to set us up for more of the same in the future, where it's like, hey, you ended up saving $150,000 because you didn't have as many outplacements as you thought you were going to. So now, it's this weird kind of interaction between the fact that the state changed and said the state rules and regs changed and said now the school district keeps up to 2%, right? That's part of the equation. My concern is that if we start using our surplus for projects that really were identified as things that should be in CNR, we're actually going outside of the process that we wanted. That's my concern here. I want to track, and I don't want to hurt the taxpayer in the process. I think if we do this, we do hurt the taxpayer in the process, but not now, in the long term. And that's my concern with this whole possibility. We went with this process for CNR. I think we need to follow it. I think if that means that we have to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to take the majority of the surplus that we fell into this year. This is not going to be the norm, right? I think we all know that. And if it does turn out to be the norm, then we need to revisit it if we see this happening for over a few years' time. This is year one in the new way of doing things. So I just think we need to be careful about how we approach it, looking at long term. That's my concern. I want to protect the taxpayer. I want a new track, but I want to follow the process that we as a town council, a board of education, and a board of finance agreed on. And I think if we don't do that, we're actually doing a disservice to the people in this town, because we did it for a very good reason.
Particularly to the students. If we break the agreement, and that's my whole thing, is there was a lot of trust that went into making this agreement. If we break this agreement, eventually it's only going to hurt the students because we have to freeze the budget, and then we'll have to freeze again, and we'll have to freeze again, and then we won't have a gym floor fixed for 10 years like what happened before we started this model. And it's going to tie Claudio's hands, it's going to tie Carrie's hands with curriculum and instruction and materials and supplies. The only thing it can't tie is special education. And at the end, whoever made the whoever made the comment, just come back and ask. We don't have to go. I think statutorily, we don't have to. We will go back and say, listen, we overspent our budget. We were irresponsible. We overspent our budget. You told us to, but at the end of the day, we overspent our budget, which we shouldn't ever do. You told us to go ahead and do it. Now, I didn't freeze anything, and now we're $600,000 in debt. And town of Cromwell, you have to pay for it because you have a statutory obligation to educate every child. And I will never freeze the budget. I told you in the areas that I will freeze it, but I will never freeze it in security and safety, and I can never ever absolutely freeze it in special education. So at the end, whatever happens, whether they agree or don't come back and ask us for more, it doesn't matter. It's on the town to pay for our students to be educated. It just will look like we, and I say a collective we, all of us, were irresponsible and we overspent our budget.
And it comes out of regular education. There are other areas it can come out
Right,
of.
it
So
will come out of.
we are
So-
taking it from someone. All right. Steve.
I'm looking at the current projections for this month. I know it's early in the year, but we're projecting right now a $3.8 million surplus on the year, and that doesn't include the surplus from last year, correct?
Yeah.
So if I'm the Board of Finance, I'm going to look at that. So you have 500 grand on top of that. What is the disservice we're doing to the taxpayer? We looking at just the numbers, just looking at plain numbers, we have a lot of money shown right now. So something to think about.
Mr. Butwell, can you comment on that?
Yeah, I could just say I think the higher cost pieces like special education, transportation, those haven't come to full cost yet. So there is money sitting in there. I looked at where we were last year at this same time, and we were actually just a little bit higher last year at about a 10% remaining balance. So I don't think you can safely say like that's our projected surplus at this point in the year, as there is still a lot of unexpended and unexpected special education costs. It's just too far to tell that we have nearly the whole year ahead of us still.
Thank you. Steve, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, shouldn't we then be retaining some of that in the forecasted amount? If we're that worried about it, why are we showing a surplus? Shouldn't we be holding money in our forecast?
Everything in the forecasted column is we've anticipated for the special ed reimbursements, and that's really like the wild card is the reimbursements. You might remember last year the state kept changing what the rate was, and so at the time of the budget development, we budgeted at about I can't remember, 59.5 or 60% reimbursement rate, which is very low, very, very conservative. And then you'll recall in the springtime, the state kind of got back on board under a lot of pressure to start reimbursing special ed rates. We got that large $265,000 additional reimbursement that all towns got during the last month of the year. But again, so we estimated low. Now it's looking like maybe those reimbursements will come back higher, at a higher rate, more like in the 70s, like they're supposed to be. So that's like, it's just a wild card. But all of the numbers that we predicted, put into the budget, they are in the forecasted column at this point.
Alicia.
Sorry. When you're talking special ed reimbursement, I also worry about federal cuts that could trickle down and impact us. So I would be a little bit less optimistic about what that reimbursement rate might actually look like. But I did have a question as we think about, it was very helpful to hear you share where we were last year at this time and where we ended, but maybe we could do some kind of a trend analysis just to see if we consistently have forecasted higher at this point in the year. I think it would help frame some of our thinking around, will that $3.8 million, I agree with you, does not play well if we're explaining it to the Board of Finance. But if we can put it in the context of this is historically where we are at this point in September, and we end up either close to the close to even or maybe just a little bit above the margin, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Okay, Kelly.
I know I said a lot of this last time, but I'm sticking with what I feel. It's a community track. So I feel like as a town council, we agreed. We originally was 150,000. No, but I mean like going to the town council that it was 150,000 that we would put, and then came back and they said, okay, we'll pay half if you pay half. So we did agree. We went up. Some of us felt uncomfortable doing that high, but we did, and it went through the town council. And like I said before, I love how the mayor is saying we can come back, and like Selena just said, that we already did ask for help and they approved it, and then it went to the Board of Finance. So this could happen again when we need money. So the Board of Finance was 3-3, so it's not like it was a way no. So my personal feeling is to see with all of us or whoever doing public comment supporting 50-50 this next Thursday, and if they don't bring it up or if it's not brought up, then you reevaluate and go from there. Everybody wants a track, but I don't think it's a school fund budget item when it could go towards the things we've already talked about and things in the future that the students need, because the track is used by the students, but it is also used by the community.
Thank
So
you,
that's
Kelly.
just me.
Appreciate that. So I think we've all had a chance to share our thoughts. Lori, you didn't have anything you wanted to say, or?
Oh, I just don't want to repeat every single thing I said last time. My opinion hasn't changed.
Okay.
I was very vocal about how I felt last time. Basically what Kelly just said,
Okay.
you know, so my opinion has not changed. I am not in support of us funding the entire track.
So Steve, your motion was to pay the additional 201 and change, and Kelly seconded. Alan amended, or proposed an amendment. Do you want to stick with your current motion?
Yeah, I think we should put a vote forward and then if it, we vote it down or whatever we decide, then Board of Finance can go from there.
Okay. So Steve had the motion. Kelly, you're still seconding Steve's motion?
No, she asked for discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a second to Steve's motion then?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Or are we, can we like commit as a board that we would call a special meeting if it does not get brought up at Board of Finance? So we just give ourselves more time.
We can always do that.
Okay.
Okay, so is there a second? Hearing none, the motion's failed. All right, thank you, and we will move on and see what happens at Board of Finance and go from there. Thank you, Ms. Brutwell. Superintendent's updates and responses to Board of Ed community comments. You did answer some of it tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this report?
No, but I'm very happy about what just happened right now, because that was really good. That was a great conversation. Everyone got to be heard, so I think that was really great. And that's my update of being proud of my board and how it still worked this evening. That was really good. Budget. We are on our way to preparing our budget. We need some direction, and perhaps this is something you might want to think about for the next meeting, as far as how if you want to have a discussion about the presentation and what you would like Mr. Butwell and I to move forward with. Mr. Butwell and I talked about some things that we were going to change anyway, so we want to give you the actuals, and that's already part of our presentation of when you see the budget book, you have what was approved, but then you didn't actually see the expenditures. You're going to see that going forward. So I really, need a little bit of direction. We need some direction. I know Mr. Heisman presented something to all of you. Any direction as far as what you would like to see differently. October is really when we start working on things, and it takes a long time. If you tell me stay the course, we like it the way it is, then we will stay the course. But a little direction and that would be greatly appreciated. Negotiations are going wonderful. Teacher negotiations are going really well. Thank you to Alicia, Alan, and anyone that supported us. I do believe that we hopefully will come to an agreement very, very soon. So that's wonderful, and I'm very proud of the work we've done with our teachers over time, that we may come to an agreement sooner rather than later. Title grants. We finally got the money from the state. The federal government gave the state the money for Cromwell. We have to apply, and Carrie has gone through the process and is going through everything. And Carrie, if you want to talk about that, so you can let everybody
All
know.
of our title grants applications have been submitted, so I don't anticipate any issues. We've already gotten our allotment, and they're not competitive grants, so
Right.
we should get them.
So the fear that we had that we may not get the federal funding, it did come through. So we're safe, and that's a good thing. That's all I really have for updates besides going to the middle school and seeing the happy faces. It's just amazing what a different environment could do for kids. And just suspension rates are down. Everything is down. Everything is, you could see the social and emotional component really affect kids, and that's what we want to see. I don't think it's only because of the new building. I think it's because everybody is happier. And then when there's a happier climate, you obviously see the direct effect on students, and we're definitely seeing that, so that's nice. And that's all I have to say.
All right, any questions for Dr. Macri? All right, we sort of already went over the budget update, but if there are any questions from the budget update, reference B in your packets, I'll call Mr. Butwell back up. Do you have a question for Dr. Macri or for?
No, just in general. He doesn't have to come up, but unless he wants to. But it is confusing unless you understand what you're looking at, which most of us do know the way the budget works and why certain things they're skewed. But I'm not sure if there's a way to better show a clear picture of where we stand, because we're not going to have $3.8 million at the end of the school year.
Never.
We
I
understand
wish.
that.
No.
But if there's a better method to do this, to show a better presentation for anybody who goes to look at our meeting minutes and say, oh my gosh, we have $3.8 million that we're going to have left over. I don't know what that is. I'm more than willing to come to help Mr. Butwell to come up with something. I don't care. I don't. But to have something more, I know it's the same one we've been using year after year, but it isn't a clear picture unless you understand how everything works. And majority of people do not, including.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I have a thought, and I wanted to talk to Chris tomorrow about it. So would it be helpful if we did a projection over just like the last couple of years of where we were in September, where we were in October, where we were in November, where we were in December, over a period of time. So you're not only looking, you made the suggestion, and Chris will go back and find where we were in September, but then why not do it for October, November, and December, and January, so everybody has an idea of where we were for, I don't know, for the last 4 or 5 years. That would be really helpful of how we spend down our money. That's a suggestion. I was going to talk about it with Chris. If you guys think it's a good idea, I'm going to move forward with it, and I'm sure it'll take Chris some time, but I'm sure he's happy to do it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Matt.
I think anything that brings more clarity and transparency is a positive. That's it. So if that can do that,
So do you
let's
want to
that.
bring that to our next meeting, and we can have an agenda item to just review those things?
Yeah. Yes.
The
you tell
changes?
us.
Sure.
Okay.
Is that okay for the November meeting? Chris, is that okay? Okay.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, and then at that time, if anyone has any other suggestions, would that be too late to give those suggestions?
I don't think so at all. I think it's never too late. I think it's so hard for people to understand an educational budget. It's so confusing. And is there some, right up until today, we had thought we had a cost of $250,000 for special education. We literally thought it was going to happen, and then it didn't. So that was right up until today. So it's hard, but it's hard for people to understand it. So I think if at least we could show something, and then if you guys think of something else, we're happy to do it.
Thank you for all that transparency. Appreciate it. Any other questions for Mr. Butwell on the budget update? Okay, I guess you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Lori has one. I'm sorry. Stay there.
Just with regard to the email that you sent out, did you get any results from that?
For the school lunch?
For
To
the lunch money.
program.
Yeah.
I spoke to Mrs. Shaw today, and she said, some additional payments had been made, but nothing significant. I have already once this year reached out directly to families, specifically to families, and I'm going to be doing another round of those messages as well. So that seemed to be somewhat effective, and just being open to families who have questions about the free and reduced meal plan, how that works. I'll say publicly, please, if you have questions or you think you might qualify for those programs, give me a call or speak to Mrs. Shaw, our food nutrition coordinator. We're more than happy to help you.
Are you finding that there's families that didn't know that program existed and they were just embarrassed to ask for help, or?
To be honest, I don't get a lot of feedback. I send out a lot of messages, and I get a lot of crickets, basically. I don't hear a lot back. I don't get some families will write back to me and say, as we discussed last year, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. So we really tried to hit the ground running this year in terms of sending out early notifications. Mrs. Shaw is sending out weekly automated emails for any student whose balance is below negative $10. So many families are receiving that bill. So for the higher amounts, again, we're trying to communicate. Please ask for help if you need it. Some families respond, but I would say the majority I don't hear from. And then there is sort of just a quiet group of people that must realize it, and they pay it off. They do pay off, their balance, or at least pay it down a bit.
Did you say at the last meeting you were able to add the negative amount to Parent Square?
To Power School.
Power School. Oh,
yes,
okay.
we're having a little bit of difficulty with that, but I'm working with our
Okay.
Power School person to get the systems
you.
to talk.
Matt, a
But
question
I'm
about
told
lunch.
it can be done.
About lunches.
That was my question. Was
Okay.
item already discussion about adding it to Power School?
Okay.
I just wanted to follow up on that.
Sorry. All right. Any other questions then? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, from here we'll go on to new business, and we'll have Mr. Bizzano to go over the grounds and infrastructure update, reference C in your packets.
Good evening again. I hope you've had a chance to look this through. I will go through them all. But first and foremost, I really want to talk about the biggest project of all that we did this summer. We closed and knocked down an old school, and we opened up a brand new one, with all the staff moving in there and assisting on getting all those people acclimated to a brand new environment that they'd never seen before. I think overall it was gone great. Whatever comes out on paper doesn't always translate to practical once you get in there and start using it. We've come a long way. The dust is settling, and I'm really proud of my team, Lynn McKinney and Mike Moen, in assisting us on helping everything from keys and door locks and signs and maps, you name it. It's amazing what it takes to open up a building. You have to be there to really appreciate it. Now, to the projects. In front of you, you've got a list of projects for the 25-26 school year or the 26 budget year. They include the capital projects, which we call capital non-reoccurring, also known as CNR, and also LEA projects that we've done this summer. I'll start with the first one, unless somebody wants it a certain way. No? All right. First project is an LEA project, is to add control access in the ECS main office that was lacking. It's awaiting scheduling. We already have it priced out and quoted. It's just scheduling. We've installed privacy film in the assistant principal office at ECS, and also, even though it's not on this list, we've installed privacy film on the cafeteria at WIS, the cafeteria here at the high school, and blackout film above the shades for the cafeteria at ECS. If you drive by during the day, it's got a reflective tint on it, so you can't really see the kids in there. It works in reverse at night, but unless we black it out completely, there's nothing we can do. Light outside and it's darker inside. It's harder for people to see in. It provides just another layer of security. Split installs at ECS. We replaced the unit in the nurse from one that we repurposed from the middle school. We were very careful on the demolishing of the middle school to repurpose quite a bit of the components. It was like a flea market. Everybody came out from each schools, went through to see the things that, one, improved the items that they have in their school, and two, things they didn't have in their building. We took down locks and cameras, you name it. We went through the whole building and repurposed tables and chairs, and they were spread out throughout the district at all the schools. Library, and most of the library at the middle school was moved to ECS to upgrade all their furniture. Exhaust fan replacement, that's the first one of the CNR projects. We've already been assessed it. We have the quote, and we're just awaiting the scheduling. Classroom blinds, that's phase 2. This is another CNR project. It's phase 2. We're doing a quarter of the school a year at about $50,000 at a clip. This was phase 2. That was done and completed. Split AC units. There was no AC in the kitchen at ECS, and we repurposed the split unit from the middle school into the kitchen at ECS. As you can see, ECS has benefited the most from repurposing of the items that were in the middle school. Grade 2 bathroom sink replacement. That's scheduled for the for the winter recess in December of this year. Same thing with adding an additional bathroom in the K wing of ECS. Those are both scheduled for December. We purchased ADA matting for the swing set over at WIS. As you know, the surface is all wood chips, and we had a student, and we have special ADA swings, but the wheelchair can't go over the wood chips. It was digging in. We purchased matting. If you ever get a chance, go see it. Got the best thank you from that student with a big smile. It was the highlight of my summer. I think I enjoyed that smile more than all the other stuff that we do. That's why we really do what we do. WIS playground blacktop, it's been completed. There was some concerns expressed by Steve Heisman over the condition and the acceptance, and the original cost to do that was $100,000. We agreed with the town to collaborate to get that done, and it cost us $13,000. Is that $13,000 a $100,000 project? No. But if you want to give me $100,000, I'll tear it apart and put a brand new state-of-the-art blacktop for an outdoor basketball court. I think we did a great job for the money that we spent on it. It's safe, and it's an outdoor playground blacktop. It's not a regulation basketball court where somebody's going to be holding competition on it. WIS main office swipe, we're waiting a schedule. There was a request by the principal to add swipe from the lobby into the main office, because it's basically open from the lobby. You can just open the door, walk in. They want a little bit more control, and that's just awaiting scheduling. WIS makeup year unit, that's still to be determined. We're assessing exactly what it's really need to see if we can do it within budget. Interior lighting fixtures. I'm going to jump around a little, and you'll have to follow me if you can. There's 3 components to the WIS LED upgrade. It's the interior lighting fixture, the exit signs, and exterior lighting. We have a scope review with the contractor. That quote has come in within budget, and we actually have a scope review this week to go over it, make sure that what we're paying for is what we really want, what we really need, and that'll be scheduled for the summer of '26. It's not something you can do when you're replacing all the fixtures in the school while kids are in the building. It's too disruptive to the education process. Outdoor shed, that was at $31,000 and change. That was moved over for this year's funding, but it wasn't part of the original CNR. The building didn't come with an outdoor shed for gas-powered equipment. We realized that as the building was being finished, the town approved the $31,000 in funding. We put a pad down, concrete pad. The shed has already been installed. We have the quote for the electrical work, and that is in the process of going through the requisition and purchase order process with the town. Security film installation, again, Some more installation of privacy film in main office, visitor entrance, and administrative window over at the high school. Install shade at the guidance over here at the high school. These two are in reverse. The shade has already been installed. Kids were stopping and looking in the window and it was disrupting the guidance office. So we put a shade for privacy and also for a security aspect. In case we go into a panic, they can close that shade because it controls that whole wing and it's a back door really into the main office. And we're also adding a swipe for that doorway leading into the guidance. Lighting fixtures, interior auditorium and lighting fixtures auditorium at the high school. We received the quotes. The quote for the lighting in the auditorium came in at budget. The quote for the specialty lighting in above the stage came in much higher. That's going to be part of our scope review. It's specialty. There's not a lot of companies there's a million companies that'll change the light bulbs and the fixtures. But when you get to stage lighting, it requires a special company. I need to do more investigation. I think I need more quotes, and if need be, I'll have to send out an RFP for it. But even sending out an RFP, you need a good RFP to put out there that details the type of lights that you're looking for. So that is in the works. But the auditorium lighting will be, the interior auditorium lighting will be done this summer again, this coming summer. Bleachers, they're scheduled to be installed on Saturday. The pad's in place. The town is working with us to install it. I just found out that we have a game on on Monday after the Saturday. So I had to have a conversation to see if we can get some people there before then. I'd hate them to run into a problem. I'd love to see the bleachers for that game. So right now, it's scheduled for them to start assembling it. I just don't know if they'll finish on Saturday. I'll have to have a talk to see if worst case scenario, at least they'll finish it on Monday during the day before the game. I'd love to have those bleachers completed before that time. Package rooftop unit number 7, it failed. It's being refurbished. That's in process. I already talked about exterior lighting fixtures, thermal imaging study. We're doing an imaging study, even beyond infrared, for all 4 of our roofs. I need to know what's the real condition of these roofs. And what the thermal imaging study does is when water penetrates, even if it doesn't come out on the bottom, but penetrates past the plastic on top, the membrane, it starts soaking into the insulation. And what that does is create a different heat pattern so they can assess to see if there's any areas that are beginning to fail. So we can address those before we have to replace the roof. It's been very successful for me in the past where I can replace a section before I have to replace the whole roof, and it saves a lot of money. And nowadays you can still get a 20-year warranty even on a resurfaced area as long as you're doing a good sized section. If you have a little patch, a foot by foot, they won't do that. But if you're replacing a 30-foot by 50-foot section, they do very well now to get us a warranty on that. Indoor air quality assessment, it's required to be completed. If you heard of the legislation, every district is required to do an indoor air quality assessment in their schools. They have 5 years to do it, and they're required to do 20% each year, beginning this year. We have the RFP, but we just haven't hit the street yet, and our plan is completed before the due date of July 1 of 2026. And last but not least, cellular transmission upgrade. We've upgraded our cellular transmission so that we can receive text across the district. It needed an upgrading. It was older, and now we get text, and also gives us better ability to interact with the town. They've gone away from the hard phone, the analog phone call-in, so they've gone cellular, so it allows us to converse with them, and they can receive our warnings and our alarms. I believe that's all of them.
Quite the list. Thank you very much. We'll take some questions. Steve?
Yeah, just in regards to the basketball court that you brought up, Claudio, when I talked to the director of Public Works, he stated that he would not have paid for that paving job and actually had the contractor rip it out. It was so bad. The town of Cromwell doesn't want to step over, the people that I've talked to don't want to step over dollars to pick up pennies. So we prefer to have quality work and have things done correctly. And I'd also like to call the meeting to a point of order about the last motion that I made regarding the track. So there should be a motion, according to Robert's rules, there should be a motion. If there's a second, it goes to discussion, possibly amended, then a vote. So there's no second motion on that motion. You called for a second motion, so I'd like to continue that motion and bring it to a vote.
For the track?
Yep. I called the meeting to a point of order, according to
I
Rob.
understand that. Yes, I understand that.
There was a motion, there was a second to the motion. We had the discussion. It was not amended, and then it goes to a vote.
We did the vote, and you voted, you made the motion, and there was no second.
There was, Kelly seconded the motion.
Did you second, Kelly?
Well, but I made the motion. She seconded the motion.
Did you intend to?
You can withdraw your second for discussion, or did you second? So basically, when that happened, I've been reading your mic. So right.
Turn your mic on.
Sorry. So basically, something like in this particular situation, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to learn and read. It's 800 pages of learning. Is someone can make a motion, like Steve did, and then someone can second the motion to have a discussion. That doesn't necessarily mean they agree with the motion. That means that you are seconding it so that a discussion can take place. Then Steve said the motion again, and then no one seconded,
The motion and a second it opens it for discussion.
Right.
You're not making a motion. I was not making a motion to discuss it.
No, your motion was on the table. Then the second, Kelly made a motion to have a discussion, not to second.
Well, I already made a motion, so she can't make a second motion. She seconded my motion.
No, so she seconded to have a discussion. She doesn't have to agree or disagree. That's what I read.
But then it goes to a vote, no matter
Then
what.
it goes
To a vote
to a
based
vote.
on the motion. The chair is supposed to
That you-
restate the motion, and then it goes to a vote.
So just to clear things up, because I think back when it was happening,
So didn't
someone
it
had
just go to
clarified,
vote?
no, that was just for discussion.
no second
And I didn't hear you say.
It did go to
There
vote,
should
no?
not be a second motion within that motion.
Right, it could have
I
just
made the
gone to vote. You
motion.
made the vote, yeah.
It went to second. Then after discussion and potential amendment of the motion, which didn't happen.
It didn't- right.
Then Selena is supposed to re-say the motion.
Yep.
And then it goes to a vote.
Okay,
Right.
let's
You
just
could-
clear it up right now then.
Yeah. So Lisa, can you read what Steve, to make sure that you have what Steve wanted?
I have Mr. Heisen made a motion to fund the entire track project, seconded by Ms. Franklin for the purpose of discussion only. That's what she said. Then when it went to reiterate, motion to fund the entire track expenses made by Mr. Heisman, there was no second, motion. The motion failed. That's what I have.
Do you mind saying that again into a mic? I'm so sorry, but if we have people watching, they wouldn't have heard you. I should have told you from the start. My apologies.
Okay, just pull it back up again. So Mr. Heisman made a motion to fund the entire track expenses. It was seconded by Ms. Franklin for the purpose of discussion only. That's what she wanted to iterate for that. Then it went to a motion, Steve did a motion to fund the entire track expense made by Mr. Heisman. There was no second motion. The motion failed. That's what I have for my notes.
Thank you, Lisa. Are you good with that, Steve?
It could be.
I can play again.
It could be. Everyone votes. I think that's what Steve is saying.
Yeah.
Because there was no second. There was a second for a discussion, but then the vote, what I believe is Steve is saying in my, over this last week of studying Robert's rules is that Steve then is saying everyone should then have to vote based on the motion that he made, even if no one seconded. So you should do yay or nay.
The motion was seconded.
Yeah, so you should do a yay or nay. Like
Correct.
Yes, and then have it fail that way.
Yeah.
Okay. That is,
Okay.
there's, yeah. So
Well,
I'm trying to learn too.
Let's just redo the vote then. What? What? Yes, if you have clarification, please. Go ahead. I know you have your little
I have a
sheet
little
there.
cheat sheet. So let me. I'm just going to read it verbatim what it says, and I hopefully it'll clear things up. So it says, excuse me.
It's confusing.
Original main motions are motions that bring a substantive question to the assembly for debate and action. These are different from incidental main motions, which are motions dealing with the procedure of the assembly. So your motion was not procedural. Your motion was you were calling for a vote. Okay, so it was substantive. So characteristics of main motions, which yours was. Every other motion takes precedence over the main motion. Main motions cannot be applied to any other motions. They must be seconded, which Kelly did, thinking it would limit to discussion. There can only be one main motion on the floor at a time. They're debatable, amendable, and can be reconsidered. They mostly require a majority vote. After a member brings a motion to the assembly must either consider the motion or dispose of the motion. To fully consider the motion, the assembly debates the motion, which we did, unless no one in the assembly wants to debate the motion, wants to debate it. The chairperson then puts the motion to a vote, and then the chairperson announces the results of the vote. So according to that,
Let's
Steve
put it
is
to a
right.
vote.
We should go to a vote.
Okay, so let's just do it right now. Steve made the motion, Kelly seconded. Who's in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Motion failed, sorry. I'm so used to saying motion carries. Motion fails again. Okay. Where were we? In the middle of Claudio's presentation. I'm sorry, Claudio. So thank you. That was quite the checklist. Did we have any questions for Claudio on that list? Alan?
No, I think it was a thorough checklist. I would just like to see, the classification of the project, a few more columns in there, CNR or whatnot. Cost, I like to see numbers. There was nothing in there about anything, numbers.
Sure.
And a time, you get this bathrooms and stuff December, but some kind of time frame, even if it's out to estimate, for bid, what are we thinking about? Is that a spring project, a summer project, some kind of target?
December project is self-explanatory.
Right, yeah, it was, but a lot of them weren't.
Most of the rest of the projects are in the summer when there's no kids. There's only a handful of projects that is still to be determined. They're
Okay.
awaiting scheduling.
All right, so we'll assume.
If I had a date on there.
All right, we'll assume then projects
Everything
summer.
as I stand at this point, everything on this list will be done. The only one that's right now that we're having a challenge about is the stage lighting. Other than that, I expect all these projects by the end of the summer to be completed. There's nothing in here that's a no. That stage lighting, it needs more work, more detail for us to get a more accurate quote. I'm not happy with the quote that we have. And the money is for 2 years. So it's not like we have a sunset, we got to spend it by July 1st. We have the time to get that resolved. But I expect to have all this completed because I'm expecting a whole another round of other projects to start doing for beginning next summer.
I don't know if you'd remember this. You probably weren't here then. But do you remember we've been debating auditorium lighting for years and years now. Didn't Mr. Sinclair come with a quote from a company, and then we were going to go to Eversource?
And we had a conversation with Eversource, and then they changed the people who work in that program. They're no longer with Eversource. So it's like, this is what happens, right? It's circular. We have to make a decision on what we're going to do with these lights. And I don't think we're going to get Eversource to be
It was either
doing
2020
much
or
for us.
2021 because I've seen it.
Yeah. They came in, and then we tried to get them back to, then those people no longer, remember Andrew, they no longer worked there. So there was no discussion to be had because the people didn't exist.
Like I said, I have to open up that door and get more detailed information.
Okay, so we're restarting pretty much. Okay,
From
got it.
scratch, because it's been so many years and COVID
Okay. Thank you. Alicia?
No, Alan, thank you. I was going to ask for the same thing. So I think it would be helpful for us to just know source of funds if this is in our operating budget, just as we think about planning out budgets for next year. And if possible, any more detail on the date. So if it was completed, when was it completed? If it's awaiting scheduling, what's the anticipated project date? Just so that we can get a better sense of the cost if we're coming close to budget, if this is something that could potentially be unanticipated costs down the line. And then I just don't know how frequently we get this report. Is this I don't remember if we get this quarterly, if we get this.
We've never had these reports in the
This
past.
came from the Gordian study, right? And then you prioritize, and that's what this is.
The CNR is new.
Yeah.
This is a whole new cycle for us, just like working with the town. This is a whole new way of doing business.
So could we get this on a regular schedule so that we could get this report with some frequency? Because I think this is really helpful information for us to have.
So of course, yes. My understanding is this is all year, our projects that we're working on. So I think we should go back and think about anticipated detail dates, source of funds, let you know if it was CNR or LEA. But then once we do that, I don't think much is going to change after that because this is a whole year.
What I can
but
do
we
is
could
update
show
on
it to you.
changes. One,
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
time, I'll have the dates and the funding source and the amounts that was budgeted for any expenditure. That being said, if you want updates, what I can do is update on the projects that haven't already been completed. I don't want to go through the list over and over again every month. I can say to update, we've completed this project. Or say for this month, we haven't completed any additional projects. Everything is status quo.
And that.
I would have been happy with quarterly. So however you want to do it, but this is really helpful, and I appreciate having it.
Since things don't move that fast, if we can do, let's say, January and March, if that works for you, this way, January we're at half year, March will be 3/4, and if that's fine, I have no problem doing that.
Do you guys want October or September? September is usually when we probably should do it.
September, January, March, and then
this way it's in the
end of
minutes
year.
and we remember. And then we'll put it in our tickler. Lisa will put it to remind you.
Sounds great.
That's fine. Yeah, whatever you guys think. Do you want it for the April meeting?
Personally,
Go ahead, Catherine.
I don't know.
January, February, April 3, September.
Well, you
Yeah, every
decide.
4 months. Yeah, you're right.
I'll present anytime. I have no
Is it
problem.
okay
Thank you
to
for your
stick with
flexibility.
September, January, and April? Is that okay with everyone?
September was too soon this year, and you thought you
Well,
needed
no,
October.
it was just
so.
it was
Okay, so
it was-
September's normally, generally?
Yes.
Okay.
We
okay.
we will be ready in September.
Okay.
yes.
All right. And Steve has a question.
Just in regards to grounds and facilities, we should really do a better job, I think, next year keeping our agenda on track for having facilities meetings. We canceled every one but January this year. So
Yes. I was going to ask you actually on that note if we want to reinstate them, because I think during the tri-board process, the committee we had, it kind of took over our facilities. Then we didn't have much of an update for facilities. And then we had Claudio come to these regular meetings because everyone really is interested in it. But that's fine with me if we want to reinstate facilities. Not reinstate it, it never went away, but we'll continue having them. Yep, keep the schedule.
The policy committee is all in favor of you guys meeting more regularly.
They're so, but you should be proud. We think about where we were 7 years ago with policy. We don't need to have it. I know we don't have to have it every day.
Selena, can I just clarify my request too?
Yes.
I didn't ask. I don't want Claudia to have to do extra work in reporting. I'd be happy with a written report. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that would be fine.
That might be more work.
Oh, well, he's
Instead
going
of
to do
just
it anyway.
updating
And
the
then
spreadsheet?
No, the spreadsheet's good. Just
Okay.
in writing. I don't feel like he has. Yeah, but I don't know that we need Claudio to present it to us in this detail every time. A written report as part of the packet would make me very happy.
All right, are we all set with the grounds and infrastructure? All right, thank you, Mr.
You're
Pisano.
welcome.
Moving on to action item B, authorized copier lease purchase agreement extension. And do you have anything you want to, who's working on that, Mr. Boutwell? Then I have the motion here.
Great. Thank you. So to keep it as short as possible, we are hoping to upgrade our copier lease. We're in year 2 of our 3-year lease agreement. And what caused us to wish to upgrade is with moving into the new building, the new middle school. The previous middle school had 2 copiers for teachers that were sufficient, and they had a 3rd copier in their library area, which was sort of a lighter duty copier. And as we moved into the new middle school, they now have 3 copy rooms, 1 for each grade level. And so one grade level inherited the lighter duty copier, and so they're wishing to upgrade it to match the other ones that the other grade levels have. And in addition, we're also wishing to upgrade our office copier, our central office copier, which was a little bit less sufficient than our previous copier, as I understand it, from our team in the central office. In addition, in speaking to our leasing company, we discussed increasing our lease by 1 year, so changing it from a 3-year lease to a 4-year lease.
Okay. Any questions? Matt?
I have 2, and they're actually kind of very different questions. The first question is coming from the teacher version of me who experiences broken down copiers at work far too often. Are our copiers being well maintained through our lease, and are they operational more than 95% of the time?
Yeah.
Okay. As a teacher, there's nothing more frustrating than needing copies and it's down for the whole day.
Of course, I completely understand. So these copiers are just in year 2. They're running great. The company Prism that we work with has been doing a great job. They come out and service them quickly if we need them to. And so the big issue, as I mentioned earlier, was that one of the stations at the middle school, that copier, it's just a smaller machine. It just can't handle the load that teachers put on it.
So I guess my second question, not I guess, but my second question is, what do we know what the cost difference is, or is this just exploratory right now to get those numbers?
No, we have the exact cost. So all the machines are staying, except we're just changing 2 machines. We're upgrading the middle school one, and we're upgrading our central office machine. By extending the lease by 1 year, we're actually going to decrease our monthly payments by $200.
So this is just a formality to update
All right,
the
that's
lease.
a win-win.
It's a win-win
I'm in.
because there's really no reason to stick with a 3-year lease agreement. The machines are running great, and the life of those machines is 4 to 5 years. So moving to 4 years really makes sense instead of having to go out to bid again.
As a teacher, I thank you for getting good copiers that are functional to serve our purpose, and as a Board of Ed member, I thank you for watching the money on it. I appreciate it.
I'm happy to do both.
Any other questions? All right, so we'll need a motion for this one, and I'll read the motion if someone wants to make it. We need a motion that the board authorizes superintendent or her designee to execute a proposed lease purchase agreement with Leaf Capital Funding LLC for the purpose of extending the term of the original lease purchase agreement supplying photocopiers to the Cromwell Public Schools, which lease purchase agreement was originally awarded through a competitive process compliant with the board's purchasing policy, and moved further that the board suspend pursuant to bylaw 9314 the applicable provisions of the board's purchasing policy for the limited purpose of and the limited time necessary for executing said lease purchase agreement, as the extension has been determined to be in the best interest of the Cromwell Public Schools because it will allow for the upgrading of certain copiers consistent with the needs of the staff while reducing the monthly costs incurred by the board.
So moved.
No, I wanted that.
So first
second
by
it.
Steve, second by Matt. All in favor?
I wanted that one bad.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Do I need to do anything with that?
No, that was just the.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Butwell, again. All right, item C, school calendar. So you had in your packet the school calendar for the 26-27 school year. And in comparing the two, I did talk to Dr. Macri. It looks like the first day of school was changed to the from the 26th to the 27th. Is that correct?
So just following last year's calendar, we always do 2 professional development days and then our student day, our first student day. So if we just really follow the same structure that we've been following forever, our first student day would be August 26th. Then we have the same amount of professional development days, half days, right, Carrie? Nothing has changed there. Okay, and then we are working on colors. I'm sorry, when you print it, the blues run into each other. You'll notice the next is in November. Big thing to look at is the 25th. November, I want to make sure I'm on the right one. So November 25th then is the Wednesday for Thanksgiving, and that would be a half day. 25th. No, Thursday is the 26th for next year. Look at the
Are you on the right
26,
calendar?
27. I know it's confusing. We gave you to this year's too, so you could have a comparison. But look at the one that says 26, 27 at the top.
No, sorry.
You didn't.
I asked Lisa to distribute the current calendar so that you could compare.
It was in your packet. Sorry, we only printed this one. I know, sorry. Don't worry, this is going to change, I'm sure, again. So basically, if you look at the 26, 27, which is the one we're talking about today, the 25th of November is actually the half day next year, and Thanksgiving is on the 26th. In December, the big date to look at is the 23rd. That'll be a half day. And then we come back on January 4th.
And that's the same.
It's the same pattern. It follows, yes. That's what we did was follow the same pattern. We didn't make many changes at all. We just followed the pattern. Those were the only things I wanted to point out to you. Making the last day of school June 9th. And then at the bottom, you'll see school will close for the year upon completion of 183 student days. June 9th, 2027, 187 staff days. CHS graduation will be June 9th, 2027. We say weather permitting, but we have it inside, so we could probably take that off. Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what, so we could take off weather permitting. That's just, we always have had it. I just noticed it first time. Yeah, so now we're allowed to have it no matter what. But you can remember, we can always go back. If we have a year where we have 20 snow days, you may say, we don't want June 9th to be graduation. You could always change this, but you don't want to, you could change it, but you don't want to change it past like December of next year, because then families start making plans, right? So we have a good year and 3 months to adjust if we're having a really bad snowy year, which let's hope doesn't happen, but you never know. You may say leave it the way it is, and you're allowed to do that. Graduation statutorily can stay on the date that originally it was planned when you planned the calendar, which is today.
So with that, is there a motion to approve the new calendar for 26, 27? Kelly, second. Is there a second? Catherine, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. The calendar is approved.
I know, right?
Moving on, well, we'll see it again
We finally
probably,
got the
so.
head of it. Hang in there.
All right, then we have a field trip list. It's not for an action, it's just for our information. Reference E in your packets. Appreciate the update. Looks like you included in-state and out-of-state. We usually just see out-of-state.
So we talked about this after COVID. There was a concern, and again, you can let me know. You guys wanted to know what our trips were because they weren't really happening. So you wanted an update. Would you like us to continue to give you an update, or at this point, do you want to just, and you can think about this and vote on it next time, whatever you want. You are only legally obligated to vote on out-of-state field trips. This is as you need to know basis. If you don't want to see this anymore, I could take it off.
No, I love seeing it. I think it encourages people to take field trips. But I'm curious, are these field trips the ones that are out of state? Will they be needing approval, or did we already approve them last year?
No, these do not need approval.
Okay.
The out-of-state ones
Because
are the only ones that need.
Well, there are some out-of-state ones on here. That's why I'm asking.
We probably
Philadelphia and Massachusetts.
So were those approved?
Did we approve those? Okay.
Yeah, you already did.
Thank you. All right, any questions on the field trips? And this is what's scheduled to date. There could be more added because obviously that's not every grade.
Yes.
Okay.
What are the ones that don't have any school associated with it?
What do you mean? Where it says like students, they're only
Like Tall Man's
there's like
Ice
7?
Cream. Yeah.
Yeah, is that like life skills?
What is
or
that?
something?
It depends. Let's see. I'm looking
It's
for
Krista
which
Dooley,
one.
I think.
Andrew,
Is
is
it
that
foods class? I mean,
yeah,
okay.
food?
It is educational, okay?
They actually teach you how to make ice cream, right? Don't they have the opportunity to make ice cream and they show them how? Yeah. they,
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Any other questions, comments? All right. We'll move on to action item E, approval of the minutes and the motions from the regular September 9th meeting. Reference F in your packets. Is there a motion to approve those? Alan, is there a second? Kelly, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Kelly Cloutier abstains. Motion passes. The minutes are approved. Item F, action of approval of minutes and motions from September 16th special meeting, reference G. Is there a motion to approve those? Kelly, is there a second? I saw Matt, sorry. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item G, approval in minutes and motions of the September 30th special emergency meeting, reference H. Is there a motion for those? Alan, is there a second?
It says, sorry.
Did I read it
says
wrong?
That I was absent and Steve was absent, but I believe we were both on that.
There were two. There were
This is
two.
the morning one, I'm
That was the
sorry.
first one.
There's been too many meetings.
Okay, so Catherine, I'll give you the second on this one. Lisa, you have that, right? First was Alan on that one. Second's Catherine. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions would be Kelly and Steve. Anyone else on that one? Okay, motion passes. The minutes are approved. And then action item H, approval of minutes and motions from the October 3rd special meeting, reference I. Before we make that motion, I just wanted to ask that we amend and strike the section. Lisa, I emailed you about it, referring to Mayor Dimitriadis's request. If we could just omit that line and include his actual letter to me as a link. Is that the wrong one?
It's a different one.
Oh, okay. We'll do that next time then. Sorry. Thank you.
I don't know if we need to correct the time. It says 6 a.m.
Okay.
It's before we.
Thank you.
Yep.
So with the amendment of the time to make it, was it 7 a.m.?
6 p.m.
Oh, this was the night one. Okay, 6 p.m. Okay. Oh, that's right. How could I forget that?
Saturday.
Okay, so who made that motion? Lori. Second, Kelly. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? I think we were all there, right? Okay, motion carries. What?
I was there, but then there was a little chunk that I got disconnected.
You're good. All right, action item I, stipend approval, reference J. Any questions on that? Do I need to call Ms. Demoro up if she's here? I don't know. She's still here. No? Okay, we're all set with that. Is there a motion to approve the stipends? Motion. Kelly, is there a second? Alan, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Stipends are approved. Human Resources Personnel Activity, reference K. Any questions on that? All right, and that is just informational. So we'll move on to the principal reports, which are also informational. Any questions? Okay, board committee reports. Policy met this evening. Lori, do you have an update for us on anything from tonight?
No, just a reminder that we swapped dates for tonight, so we will not be having a meeting in November. Our next meeting will be on December 9th.
Okay, so we'll do facilities. at the next
Facilities will
meeting.
be, right, so
Okay.
that we could address, so there was some that was time sensitive that we wanted to review today. So just a reminder that the November 11th will not be policy, it'll be facilities.
Okay, thank you. Topics for future agendas and possible actions to approve additional topics. Anything there? I think we added. Yes, Alicia?
I just want just a recommendation that we discuss the proposal for public asset facility, whatever the proposal is from the mayor, so that we have a perspective on what that looks like and how it will impact our future budgeting.
Okay.
And I don't know what the timing is on that.
I don't know the exact date in November either, so I'll find out.
Okay.
Thank you. And once I have the official copy, I'll circulate it. Oh, Matt, go ahead.
Just a question on the Facilities and Technology Committee meeting scheduled for November 11th. Are we going to know all the members of that committee at that point? Like, we don't know if there's going to be turnover in the upcoming election. Are we going to know who all the members are? Because the election's only a few days before.
We might
I mean,
not.
I guess we'll just have it with the
We'll
existing.
have
with-
whoever is still on the board
Okay.
attend, and hopefully we have quorum. We'll figure that out, obviously, after the
Okay.
4th. All right, anything else?
May I just ask what month? So that's for the next meeting? For the
For facilities?
No,
Yes.
no, no.
My recommendation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I,
wanna make sure I
that's
know.
what I'm asking for clarification on timing, so I don't know what.
We don't know when the town is. I don't know if it's on election day that they're.
If there's a proposal available for us to review, then I would say the next meeting would be better because we want to weigh in before there's any other action in any other parts of our government.
So you're requesting it for the next meeting? Okay. Assuming that's before the referendum for it. Sorry. Okay, so then we won't be able to weigh in on it, is what I'm trying to say. Steve, go ahead.
So that's an ordinance. It's not on the charter. It's not a charter revision. It's in town ordinance. So I don't know if it just has to go through town council. I don't know if it's already approved already. So.
He said it goes to a public hearing, so maybe.
So there
at
must
town
be a
council.
hearing then for an ordinance. So I don't know when that's gonna be. I don't.
I can find out and let you all know.
But
Along with
I
the
agree that
memo.
it would be a good thing to see. Yeah.
Mhm.
Selena,
I probably know tomorrow. What?
were we talking about adding things from based on our last meeting? Do we need like a motion to vote to put it on to the agenda or on the?
I think we did that for the conversation about the budget. Is that what you're talking about?
No, this her. Alyssa's her comment about.
Well, see, we don't know the timing yet, so.
If can I make a proposal? So I'll make a motion that we add for future meeting as soon as reasonably possible that we discuss the public asset facility proposal. That's what I wrote down. It has,
Okay.
as
Close
you
enough.
called it, Selena. I don't know if that's the
Sure.
right name.
No, that's correct.
You all
I
know what I'm
second.
talking about, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Second. Thank you.
Public Asset and Facilities Committee.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's my motion, and I think
Is that Matt? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We'll add that to the next agenda. All right, we'll go around with comments, updates, and announcements.
Can I ask another question?
Oh,
I'm
sure.
I want to make sure we do everything right, so I get used to doing everything right. Do we need to vote to add what Alicia said she would like the grounds and infrastructure update as far as the CNR?
We just did.
No, the other thing earlier
Oh.
to put it on the agenda for
No,
January,
that was just a request
April,
to
September.
Mr. Bazzano.
Oh, good. Okay. I want to just make sure. I'm trying to make sure we're good. Okay.
Okay, now we'll go around with comments, updates, announcements. Matt. Thank you.
I just want to comment on all the news articles in the paper and elsewhere about phones in schools. Just throw it out there.
Just
How
rubbing it in a
beneficial it
little.
is.
Okay. Kelly. No. Lori.
I just want to acknowledge that this is Kelly Cloutier's last meeting and thank her for her service. We will miss you. And good luck to everybody who's running for re-election and election.
All right.
And
Thank
that's
you.
it.
I think a lot of us were going to say that, so we'll give her a round of applause for her 4 years of service. We'll miss you. You went out with a really lengthy meeting, so appreciate you being here.
Actually, you're going to be on the school climate committees.
She'll still be volunteering. You can't get away from it once you start. And I just want to wish our seniors a great trip to Washington, D.C. I hope they're having a great time. Catherine, nothing?
Well, it's been great. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still in town. My kids are still here. I will be part of the school climate committee for the high school and the middle school. So I'll still be around. But thank you, everybody.
Enjoy your free time.
You
Alicia.
get to keep your sign.
Oh, you get to keep
Only
your
the-
nameplate.
Take the nameplate.
Not the stand.
Not
Don't take the stand.
I'll wait till the end of the meeting.
Alicia? Okay. All right. Then I will call this meeting